Another noon game. We got Michigan versus Northwestern. The game is being played in Chicago, but it's actually at Wrigley Field. So it's basically a home game for the Northwestern Wildcats, but it is being played at the Chicago Cubs Stadium, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Michigan looking to keep its playoff hopes alive, while Northwestern is trying to reach bowl eligibility right now. Michigan right now in the season is 7-2. They're trying to make it back to the college football playoff after missing out last year. They must win their following two games against Northwestern and Maryland in order to likely set up a win and in scenario for Michigan against top-ranked Ohio State in the season finale. And if Michigan wins out, it also has a path of reaching the Big Ten championship game where it could clinch a spot in the 12-team playoff. But the Wolverines cannot overlook this game against Northwestern at Wrigley Field. Right now, Northwestern is 5-4 on the year and need one more win to reach a bowl game for the second time in 3 years under head coach David Braun.
Yeah, no, Braun's done a nice job with this team, considering we weren't sure what the expectations would be, especially offensively for this team. Preston Stone been a little bit up and down. They've gotten a big step up from the running back, Caleb Kamalafe, after Cam Porter went out for the season with an injury. The run game's gotten better as the season has gone on, and of course, David Braun, the defensive coach that he is, has got a pretty good defense over there in Evanston, just going down the street for this game to downtown, the north side of Chicago there. I'm pretty familiar with it. But no, I mean, I think that's what you have with Michigan here is it's the next step in the process, right? Get to that Ohio State game 9-2, give yourself a chance to go to the playoff. And to be honest, when you look at the head-to-head and the way the standings are, I'm not sure how it would be necessarily with Oregon if they still have one loss, but you go into the big house and you beat Ohio State and you win that tiebreaker at the very least. Now you're talking about, we're expecting Ohio State, Indiana. It could very well be an Indiana and Michigan in that Big Ten title game as well if they get to 10-2.
Absolutely. So ultimately, Dalton, you have the Northwestern offense who has been really good in the trenches this year.
So we got a fun trench matchup in this game. Northwestern, Caleb Tiernan, and this offensive line, they're the 10th highest graded offensive line in the country, 15th in pass blocking grade, 17th in run blocking grade, a very balanced approach, keeping Preston Stone clean because he hasn't been great under pressure, but in a clean pocket, he's been able to make big plays and get Griffin Wilde on the outside the football especially. And then, like I mentioned, opening up holes for Kamalafe in the run game, even without their expected starter, Cam Porter. He's only played 2 games this year and then left for the season due to injury. And then you look at Michigan's defensive line. Look, their 4 highest graded players on defense are defensive linemen Derek Moore and Jayshawn Barham off the edge. You've got Rayshawn Benny inside. TJ Guy mixes in there as well. You're just going to get a really good trench matchup, and Northwestern's offensive line is going to have to play their best game in order for them to score points on this Michigan defense. This Michigan defensive line, is it quite what it was last year with 2 first-round picks and some other draftable guys? Not quite, but it's pretty darn close. They're still the 12th best defensive line in the country, so they haven't taken too big of a drop-off. That's the unit that really sets the tone for this Wolverines defense. You're going to get a really fun trench battle when Northwestern has the ball.
Definitely. I'm looking at Michigan's run game, of course, against Northwestern's run defense. It's really only the matchup to look at overall for Michigan, I feel like, in every single game this year, because the bread and butter of their offense is their run game. They run the ball on about 54% of their plays this year, the 7th highest rate in the Power 4, and for good reason, too. Right now, Michigan is 7th in the country with 6.3 yards per carry this year. They average 2.6 yards before contact per carry, which is 9th among all teams in college football. And even though star running back Justice Haynes is out indefinitely with foot surgery, Jordan Marshall has picked up right where he left off. Jordan Marshall, a redshirt freshman, has 428 rushing yards since week 8. That's 8th among all running backs in America. And the Wolverines had a bye week in that stretch too. So if he played that extra game, he'd probably be even higher in the standings right there. Both Haynes and Marshall are very talented, but a big reason why Michigan has a great running game, no matter who their running back is because their offensive line has been phenomenal this year. I said before, 9th most yards before contact per carry, and they're 16th in the country in run blocking grade as well, the 70.6 run blocking grade. Northwestern has had plenty of issues with opposing run games this year. They're only 108th in college football in team run defense grade, and they have a lot of issues tackling ball carriers as well. 50.3 tackling grade on the year is the second worst mark in the Power 4, and they miss a tackle on runs on about 19% of the time this year. That's the worst mark in the Big Ten. So if Northwestern does not force true freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood to win in obvious passing downs, it's going to be a long, long day for their defense.
Yeah, no, I mean, how valuable has Jordan Marshall been lately to Michigan? 3 straight games with at least 110 rushing yards, and when Justice Haynes got hurt, he's been hurt twice now this year. We've gone, okay, who's going to pick up that slack? Jordan Marshall's done an outstanding job, and don't forget Bryce Underwood in the run game too. He showed us, I think, more than we thought as a rushing threat. Over 300 rushing yards this year if you exclude sacks, like you should. So I think those two guys in the backfield, as usual with the way that Michigan wants to play, the shortage of dynamic receiving options are getting a little bit better out there as the season goes on, but they still want to run the football. Marshall and Underwood are going to be very key to that.
Absolutely. So ultimately, Dalton, in a game at Wrigley Field, will Michigan pull it off and keep their playoff hopes alive, or will Northwestern deliver a huge upset and also get to bowl eligibility?
I think the Wolverines get it done, and I think they'll find a way to get pressure on Preston Stone in some big moments in this game. That's really been the problem for Stone, is handling pressure and not turning the football over, not putting the ball in danger. And I do think Michigan, with their run game, can control the pace of this game. I've got the Wolverines 28-16. I think they use the same formula to kind of win these games the same way they've been winning them recently, right? I just think this, if you're going to beat Michigan, I think you do have to have the quarterback who can really stay calm under pressure. I don't know that Preston Stone can do that in big moments. There's going to be a handful of third downs that come to him, and I think that Wink Martindale is going to put together the right blitz packages to get that pressure on him, even against a really good offensive line in Northwestern. 28-16 Wolverines.
Love it. I have Michigan as well, 31-17 overall. I think both these teams are going to try to win with their run games in this one. The difference is, though, Michigan has a top 15 run defense grade in college football. Northwestern's outside the top 100 right now. So I think Michigan's run defense will play well. Northwestern's, I don't think will. I think Jordan Marshall and Bryce Underwood on the ground could have big days against Northwestern on the ground. And when both teams have to throw the ball, I trust Bryce Underwood right now more than I trust Preston Stone at Northwestern. So even though it's at Wrigley Field, even though it's in Chicago, I've got Michigan winning 31-17. All right.